Hey guys, welcome to the notes for the work of Gregor Mendel. So we are studying Mendelian genetics or Mendel's genetics. He was the father of genetics, and we'll talk a little bit more about him in a little bit. But first, let's define the word genetics. Genetics is the scientific study of the delivery of characteristics from parent to offspring. That's kind of a wordy definition. Let's talk about what that means. If we see the mom here, we can see that her daughter looks just like her. And so there's something that she had to pass on to her daughter that says that she's going to look very similar to her, and that is her DNA. So we pass our DNA on to our offspring. And sometimes certain traits are expressed and sometimes they're not. So sometimes we look like our parents and sometimes we look nothing like them. So here, this is a chromosome that we've been talking about. And we have 46 chromosomes. And all 46 chromosomes we call our DNA or our entire genome. Our entire genome is all of our DNA that is found in the nucleus of our cell. Gregor Mendel, he was a priest and he taught high school, and he worked with pea plants in his garden. And it was pea plants that he used to do research about studying about how traits are passed on from one generation to the next. He said something has to be being passed, something has to have been passed on. There's something that's allowing for kids to look like their parents. So what he did is he noticed that a purple flower and a white flower would produce all purple flowers in the F1 generation. So let's define some things here. Right here we have the P generation, or the parent generation. So this should make sense that we have two parents, and these parents we have are purple flowers, a purple flower and a white flower. And the F1 generation is the offspring. So we call it the F1. It stands for filial 1, but don't worry about that. Just call it the F1 generation. And this F1 generation is the offspring of the parent generation. Then, if we were to take two of these plants and breed them together, they would have offspring. And that would be the F2 generation, or the second generation. So he developed true breeds. What a true breed is that an organism that has only one version of a gene. Meaning, like, let's say right here, this flower has only purple flower genes, and this flower has only purple flower genes. And so if they're bred together, they're going to produce only purple flowers, because that's all they have to give is the purple flower gene. And so we call these true breeds. So every time this flower has an offspring, it will be purple, and all of the genes for plant color will be purple. And he did that for white as well. So here he has purple flower, a true breed purple flower, and a true breed white flower. And what he did is he crossed them, or he breeded them together. And what he found is that the F1 generation produced all purple flowers. He said, that's weird. So is the white flower gene lost? Where does it go? And then he took the purple flower from the F1 generation and bred it with another purple flower in the F1 generation. And he noticed that the F2 generation had 3/4 purple plants and 1/4 white plants. So that white flower gene was conserved. It stayed somewhere, but it sort of was hidden. And then it came back up. It resurfaced. And he said, that's weird. How does that happen? So he determined that all 4 of the flowers in this F1 generation, he said that while they were purple flowers, they had genes also for white flowers. So these white flowers are going to be recessive, and these purple flowers are dominant. We call this the law of dominance. So this flower has a purple gene and a white gene, and If you have a purple gene and a white gene, the dominant uh, color, the dominant gene will be expressed. However, there is still a white gene in there, and you can pass on that white flower gene. So hybrids are organisms that have more than one version of a gene. And how does that work? Well, we have genes for every trait, one from mom and one from dad. So we said that we have 46 chromosomes, or 23 pairs. Let's say that this is our second chromosome, or our 15th chromosome. It doesn't really matter. So this is the chromosome. This is our 15th chromosome from mom, and this is our 15th chromosome from dad. And right here, let's say that this is the pea plant, and it got an allele for purple flower right here from its mom, but it got an allele from its dad for a white flower. So this plant is a hybrid because it has a purple flower and it has a white flower gene. And so what are genes? Genes are segments of DNA that are going to code for a protein. And a protein does a job in the body that gives you a trait. And so only one allele will be expressed. In this case, if you have a purple flower and a white flower, the dominant allele will be expressed, the dominant purple flower. And so we call that the phenotype. The phenotype is what you see. You only see, I like to think phenotype face. You see somebody's face, you see their traits. And this can be expressed with a word. So here, the trait that you're going to see is that there's a purple flower. However, there's more to the story than just the phenotype, it's more than just what you see. You have a silent gene and an expressed gene. So you have two genes, or we said two alleles. We have the white flower version and the purple flower version. And so we call that the genotype. It's what's in your genes. And we express this with two letters. So here, big P is going to represent the dominant purple flower, and little p is going to represent the recessive white flower. And so we express this with two letters, big P, little p. If the flower had two dominant purple flowers, they would have big P, big P. If they had two recessive alleles for this gene, or two white flower genes, then they would have little p, little p. What I want to do is I want to get you started with this worksheet. So this is in your packet. Should this dog be called Spot? And what we have here is a puppy. Instead of flowers, we have a puppy, and here's our puppy. And this puppy has let's call this the fourth chromosome. So he's got a chromosome from the mother dog, from his mother, and he has a chromosome from his father. And these are the genes that he has, or the alleles that he has on these chromosomes. And so the L, hair length, is going to be represented by L. The dominant is a short hair length, capital L, and the recessive gene is long hair, which is represented by a little l. Hair texture, the dominant allele for this is going to be big T for wiry hair, and silky is going to be the recessive allele. It's going to be represented by a little t. Hair curliness is going to be represented, capital H is going to be curly hair, and lowercase h, or recessive, is going to be straight hair. Coat pattern is going to be spotted dominant with an A, or solid recessive with a little a. So will the puppy, if these are his two chromosomes for all of these traits, will the puppy have a spotted coat? Should we call this dog Spot? So he has, for hair length, we're looking for L. He has a capital L and a little l. And so remember, if there's a dominant gene, that will be expressed. So he has a big L and a little l. So he's going to have, oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at hair length. coat pattern. He has a big A and a little a. So he's going to have big A is spotted and little a is solid. So since he's got a dominant A or dominant spotted allele, we can call him Spot. So will the puppy have a spotted coat? Yes. Does the female dog have a spotted coat? So that's his mom we're talking about. Does she have a spotted coat? Coat pattern, she has a capital A. Yes, since she has a capital A, then yes, we know that she's going to have a spotted coat, because no matter what she has on her other allele, because remember that mom dog is going to have 2 chromosomes, one from her mom and one from her dad. And so we know that since she got a chromosome with a capital A on it, that she's going to have, and that's dominant, she's going to have a spotted coat. Does the dad dog have a spotted coat? Here's his chromosome. So remember, this dad dog has 2 chromosomes, one from his mom and one from his dad. And so he has a lowercase a. And that tells us that he's passing on a solid coat trait. But we don't know for sure what he has on his other chromosome. This dad dog might have a capital A or another lowercase a. So we don't know for sure what his coat is going to look like. So we can't know for that. So I'm going to leave it there, and what I want you guys to do is to finish this this worksheet and take a picture of it, and I'm going to have you upload that both sides to PowerSchool in the assignments section. If you need any help or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Have a great day.